Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Intuition Incubator interviews. I am Carolyn Beauchamp, the author of the recently published book, Horses to Higher Consciousness, Riding the Cosmic Current. It's an inspirational memoir based on my life of how I had to learn to trust the voice within as opposed to the voice or voices without, which inspired the Intuition Incubator interviews. And I am thrilled to be here today with the lovely Arianne DeRond, who is the founder of Joyful Support and a coach for heart-led dog lovers who know their dog is a mirror, not a mistake. Her work reveals the truth. Lead your dog, lead your life. She guides clients from reactivity to relationship, chaos to calm clarity. Welcome, Ariana.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for that beautiful introduction, Carolyn.
Oh, you're so welcome. You deserve it.
Thank you.
So, I'm so happy you're here, and I want to hear all about your work. But before we start with that, let's just talk a little bit about you. Where did your transformational journey with the dogs really begin? What was going on in your life?
I don't think I can really pinpoint one thing, but let's go a whole lot of years back.
Okay.
I was born almost beside the dog. So that is where my relationship with dogs already started. And even when I grow up, I didn't really understand human as well. And I started to feel much better around dogs or other animals. So my world where I feel safe and comfortable and seen was mostly around animals. So I think at that time already, I knew there was more.
Oh, that is so wonderful. I had the same situation with the horses and my great grandfather's dog, so I get it. So
Yes.
good. So tell us when you said that you really came in next to a dog, what happened there? Did your family have dogs or a dog that when you were a newborn or a baby? What
I had dogs my whole life. And although I was born in the hospital, what doesn't always happens in the Netherlands, right? You can have birth at home or in the hospital. So, but I happened to be born in the hospital. But the moment I came home a couple hours later, I was introduced to my first dog. And that relationship has been going on all till now. I think I had one day, I had no dogs, and that felt horrible. And I needed to get as soon as possible a dog again, just to build that relationship again.
Yeah, you mean you were a brand new baby. You were brought home from the hospital, and what kind of
Yeah.
dog did your parents have?
At that time, we had a mix with Labrador in it. I think it was a mixed Labrador Dalmatian. So it was a black one without the dots of the Dalmatian, but it has like the build of the Dalmatian. And I think it was only 1 or 2 years old. And then we had a litter. So I was in between all that little puppy stuff. And from that time, I always had dogs. Yeah, I always had dogs. I did horseback riding as well. I did lots of camps with horses. Then I started to work on farms where I always was intrigued by um, how to get them doing things without them forcing to do things. So that was always um, my mysterious magical tool, I would say.
Oh,
So
your
they
your
yeah,
natural
I
gift.
attracted I attracted the cows in the field. If I was sitting there, they came to me, but I didn't call them, right? Or even horseback riding without all the controlling tools that they need to do what we want. I just sat on it and and it happened. So there was a connection with them always.
Oh, that is so amazing. And you said at first too that you had a stronger connection with the animals than with the people. So
Yeah.
was there a distance or a kind of, I know because this is the Intuition Incubator, we talk about what we went through and how it really led us to trust our instincts. So were you instinctively kind of pushing away from like dysfunction or emotionally unavailable people, or what was
I
the
didn't
story there?
understand people, and I bet they didn't understand me either. And I always thought that they didn't see me the way how I really was, but they also I didn't understand why people were so fake because if you I don't know if I could look through them, but I knew they were different, but they behaved another way that I never understood that.
Oh, that's very interesting. Well, it sounds like you were in touch with your intuition very, right from the get then. You were really,
Absolutely. And if you are surrounded with the animals, especially with dogs and horses as well, right? But most animals are, they live from that truth within. So there is no worry, there is no past where they are thinking about the way how we do. So they really ground me. And I never had the idea that they didn't see me. Where in the human society, I thought like nobody sees me.
wow. That's really true because the animals are in the moment. The animals
Yeah,
are in the now, and the animals are unconditionally loving. So the
absolutely.
animals are really in the oneness. And that's when you're a very intuitive person, you sense the difference then with the people and the animals. So that's really fascinating. So you really did have a gift right away with that
I did, but I
communication.
never knew that I had it, right? And I was
Yeah.
picking up a lot of people's feelings too. And it took me a while before I knew the feelings that I felt if they were my own or they were someone else.
So
And the
you're an
moment
empath.
Yeah, and the moment I started to understand that difference, I could I could follow up easier on it because the feelings that I got from people and the way how they acted were different. So I didn't understand why people were that way.
Yeah, well, if you're a very strong empath and you're connected to the animals who are in the now, and people are either in the past or they're thinking about the future, and they're anywhere but here.
We
So,
always call it time traveling, right? We as humans are time traveling all the time in our minds.
yes, that's a very good way of putting it. Instead of just being here now, where there is no time, right? There is no
I
time in the
know, right?
now. What time is it? It's now. The time is
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, but look at your dog. Like if I go just outside the door and put something in the garbage and come back, they're happy.
Yeah,
It's maybe I've been away for 2 hours or 2 minutes. It doesn't matter. My dog is always happy to see me again, right?
exactly. So this is so fascinating because I've never spoken with anyone, me being an animal lover too, and a connection from a very young age with animals. I've never spoken with anyone who has come to it from this angle that you are, and I'm really fascinated to learn more about how you segued from just your oneness with the animals into helping others connect and see the animal the way you see them from that empathic place of you know how the animal's thinking and you can help the people know what their animal is thinking and how to be one with the animal. So tell us how that happened. What was the segue?
So, I trained dogs for 30 years now. And I always had my own dogs and I always worked with them. And then I started to train dogs for other people. And it was always the focus was on the dog, right? And not on the
Yes.
people.
Yes.
And the last, I would say 5, 6, 7 years, things started to change because I thought, like, why are we focused on the dogs and not on us? And that's where
Wow.
everything started to change. And you need to see it if we as human, as heart-led dog lovers, get a dog, we're building a relationship, a connection together. And if we have a connection with a human person, we always say there's two sides on a story, right?
Yeah,
But in the way that we are with dogs, there's no two sides because always people think like they should do what we think that they need to do, right?
right.
Or when we control the dog, then they are well behaved. That's kind of the narrative that we have been taught. But if we turn it around and see how in this world we as human time traveling with our thoughts all the time that brings anxiety and disappointments and frustration and irritation, everything comes up, and then we shove it down because we're not allowed to show the feelings, right? We shove it
Right.
down, and then in this world we get sick because if those emotions are all in our bodies and we don't do anything with it, it comes out one or the other way.
That's right. It comes out either physically or emotionally or psychologically or
Yeah.
mentally. It comes out in the relationships.
Right.
It comes out in a lot of different ways. I know that as a clinical hypnotherapist. I mean, that's my work, is helping
Right.
people go in and change false beliefs that they've created from those negative situations that come up. So the dogs are no different than the people.
No, but if we start to see the dog as a connection where there's two stories,
Yes.
it opens up a whole lot of awareness to live in the momentum, to live in the present, to start to trust your own intuition again. So, what the dogs actually do is they help us to awaken to our own consciousness. And
Absolutely.
and if we are curious about that part and if we see that now our dogs are here not just to obey us, but to awaken us and to help us come back to ourselves. And like the easiest exercise that we do is just sit with your dog and either way pet your dog or but just sit here, think about your dog and feel your dog. That brings you with all your senses back to now. And
Yes.
the funny part is, as soon as we start to come back to now, our dogs are kind of right away magnetically attracted to us because they say like, finally, you're here with me.
Yeah, you're
and not
present.
and not everywhere.
Yeah, you're present.
Yeah.
You're not in the past or you're not in the future.
Absolutely. So that is what we need in this world. We need to, instead of go after all the distractions around us, we need to come back to present, to now. And if we are present and we listen to that voice, what comes up then, that is the voice of intuition. That is the voice that we shove down that tells us what we already know, but we forgot. And that is also the place that all those emotions that we shove down, that's also the place that we can say, now I'm here, and now it kind of comes up one emotion at a time and let it come because everything that comes up, you can release.
That's absolutely right. Let it,
Right? So
that's what I do in my work. Yeah.
your dog is just helping you to come back to now and to calm you down. Connect with your dog. And that is where the whole change of your relationship is from reactivity, because your dog is not reactive, but your dog is screaming to you, hey, I need help. You need to help me. Hello. I cannot handle this. That is reactivity. But if we are in our own world and we are reactive on their reactivity, can you imagine what kind of loop we are in?
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, it
I
is
know.
just a reactive loop instead of responding to what's coming up.
Yes. Yes.
Well, this is really fascinating. So it must have shifted. Tell us how it shifted for you then when you went from the regular dog trainer. Were you employing those regular techniques until you got that aha? Like when you started training dogs, what you never probably were exactly like just a regular trainer because you always had from the young age that intuition.
It is, but this is so I always had that intuition. So I always built a connection first before I could ask my dog to do things, right?
Uh-huh.
You cannot ask without listening, so you do need to listen. So I had a great teacher in the Netherlands. It was a very famous dog trainer, dog whisperer. I don't know how you called it at that time. So, but we're talking about that was like 35 years ago. So at that time, I had training from him, and half of the training was how to train the dog, and the other half was the psychology behind it. So I was already never about the dog alone. It was the relationship, it was the psychology behind it. Why are people doing things the way they do? So, but the funny part is with my dog training experience and journey is that a lot of people don't take the responsibility anymore. So their dog has a problem, they're getting frustrated, and now they bring the dog to me and they say like, fix my dog.
Yes.
And that was, I think that happened over the last 10 years so much that that needed to shift. We need to take that responsibility back because every behavior our dog shows comes from us, right?
Right?
It's just their language to tell us how they feel.
Yes,
So
like I
if
said
I
in the introduction, like I said,
yeah,
that what you say is the dog is the mirror, right?
absolutely. But even like, right, if we talk in a different language, hey, you talk French and I talk Dutch. I don't know. And we talk to each other. We don't hear the words the same, but we start to pick up on the energies.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
So if we talk to a dog, it's not just our words, because that's what we think as human. So we put a lot of pressure on words, but I told him this, but it's the way how you say it.
A
Right?
hundred
So
percent.
I can speak in every language to my dog because my dog doesn't hear the words. My dog hears the energy behind it. And if we
Absolutely.
and if we use the same way communicating to people and really listen to that energy behind, that's why sometimes you talk with people and you're like, I have an odd feeling with that person. That's not because of their words, it's because of the energy behind it, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Wow. So how did that segue then when you had this aha of these people kept coming, you're saying, I can't do this anymore. I can't fix their dog. They need to learn how to communicate appropriately with their dog in the now. First, I want to know how you segued, how you approached your clients with it, and then second, how they reacted to that and what the changes were in the relationship. So,
Yeah. So so it's pretty cool because in the beginning, like 10 years ago, I did do in training, like in-person lessons, right? And in-person lessons, we started to say to the people, so ask your dog to walk with you, but don't use your words. So people were like, huh? How do I do that?
I
Right?
love it. Yeah.
People are not used to that there is another language behind the words. So that was a big one. And then it started to um, people start to see that even when they don't use words, their dogs are actually calmer because now that is the only thing they hear. Because the words are not always matching with the energy. So if the words are not matching, the dog is kind of like, I don't know what you want here. But if,
Incongruence.
yeah, so if we take the words away and we have just the energy, the dogs are like, oh, I get it. I know what to do.
Yes.
But that means that we need to work a little bit harder to be conscious. What energy do I send? So that was
Wow.
a big thing. And then now, these days, and for sure, the COVID and the lockdowns, everything helped with that. Now, I'm not even training dogs anymore. I am just training the owners. So, but you know what? Every shift the owners do, what they shift in their way of communication is right away reflected back to them by their dogs. So, working on yourself will help to better your relationship with your dog. And then the little secret, right? If you can do that with your dog, you can do that with everyone.
Exactly.
So that's where it comes from. It is the way how you lead your dog, is the way how you lead your life.
Wow, that's really, really profound. And the being the mirrors that they are, they're getting feedback when they're doing it right. Because if they're just saying it, what do they just say it, telepathically, basically to their dog with a feeling of love and like say in their head, we're going to go for a beautiful walk right now, but they don't say it. And then the dog would jump right up, right? Knowing what they were because they're telepathic.
Yeah,
And then,
but it's also so that is going on a walk, but it also started to reward your dog by the things they do because they love to do things for us.
uh-huh.
So, but we're not really saying it, but we're kind of helping them. But when they do, we kind of reward it, and the dog is like, okay, I really like the reward. So how do I get that again? Yes, I can do it. Right? That is how quick things go. And that is why I wrote my book. So this is Be the Change for Your Dog. And it's kind of odd these days that we feel that we don't change for ourselves anymore, but we want to change for others.
Uh-huh.
So be the change for your dog gives you a reason to change. But
That's
the
really
secret,
true.
but the secret behind is you're actually doing it for yourself.
Yes, absolutely. But we're not living in a vacuum and we are living with others. So we automatically want to, you know,
Absolutely. Yeah,
we want to be loving and kind and we want a group of people around us. I mean, we're like we're animals in that way, like pack animals. Like we want to be around others. We don't want to just
right?
be by ourselves. And so the dogs by mirroring back to the person when they're doing it, when they're really communicating the feelings correctly, will encourage them to do it more. And then they have such a strong bond with their pet.
Absolutely. Because there is so much clarity in their communication, right?
Yes,
And and there is no better supporter in your life to change things for yourself than a dog. Because if you make a mistake, your dog loves you anyway.
right.
And sometimes your dog loves you even more because if you make a mistake, it rewards the dog. Right? And if your dog has behavior that you're like, I don't like that, then that behavior is reinforced. That's why your dog is still doing it. So, what if we break the pattern of reinforcement? So now you build a new pattern.
Well, how are they reinforcing the bad behavior? I don't understand that.
It's very easy because most people, say, for example, what is an uncommon mistake or a common challenge that a lot of dogs have?
Okay, barking.
Okay, so barking. So they bark to another dog. For example, what do we do? What do we do as dog owners when my dog barks?
Usually say, stop that.
So, do we give it attention?
Oh, good
Do
point.
we reinforce it? Your dog says, like, oh, you want more? Sure, I will do that.
Because you mean because you're engaging with them and they don't.
Absolutely, because that's what your dog is selling. Like, oh, so if I bark and you bark, so you want more? Okay, I bark more and you bark more. So perfect. We're getting more barking.
Oh, because but don't they feel the energy behind the owner like yelling at them to stop barking more than hearing don't bark? Don't they feel agitation?
So, do you have kids?
No.
So, if we have kids, attention is a stronger reinforcement, even if it's negative.
Yes, I've heard that. I've heard that before.
But
Yeah.
that's what dogs do. So, right? So
Oh,
if their dogs bark and they bark to their dogs are really thinking like, "Oh, right, you want more? I can give you more." So, we need to we need to first be aware of our patterns. How do we reinforce the behavior? And then we can break the pattern and build a new one, right? So
hmm.
again, back to the barking to other dogs. So your dog sees another dog and it barks. And now instead of barking to your dog that they need to stop or whatever, and you turn around and walk away. Your dog is like, oh, okay, we're going that way. Sure. There's no reinforcement because now your dog likes to go to the dog or your dog is afraid. I don't know. But now the pattern is like I bark and you go away. Is
But
that
you're
what
still,
your dog
yeah, but you're
wants?
still with the dog. You
You're
walk away, but you're
of
still with the
course.
dog. So I don't know how it would prevent them from doing it the next time if you just walk
So
away.
if you don't bark on your dog, but you just walk away or in a loop or behind something or whatever, and your dog doesn't come closer or doesn't get the reinforcement from you, this is where you break the pattern.
I see.
And now you can start building a pattern. So now so you might walk away and your dog is like bark, bark, bark behind you, right? Because it's used to do that. And now the moment that you walk away and your dog starts to bark, 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 and then connects with you again, you reward it. So
Mm.
now you're building a new pattern. Right? So you
Yeah.
listen to your dog is barking. So I don't even know the reason behind it, but that is a behavior that you don't want. Yeah. So now to break that pattern, don't reinforce it, but do something else. And the moment that your dog connects back to you, you reward it because that's what you want. You want your dog to connect with you, not with the dog.
Right. Exactly.
And so sometimes that takes practice, but if
Hmm.
the distance is far enough, your dog has a reason to connect back to you. But that means that you need to build connection with your dog. And you cannot expect to build a connection with your dog while your dog is barking. So you need to do that at home. That's where you
Ah,
build a connection. And then when your dog barks to somebody, you pick up, walk away, and as soon as your dog connects back to you, you reward it. So
I
now
see.
you have a pattern that you don't like. You break the pattern by doing something different, and then you can build a new pattern that you like.
Well, exactly. It's no different than what I do in my practice too. So that's what we do as healers, right? And you're the dog healer.
I know. I know, right? And yeah, you are not just helping yourself because you don't get frustrated about your dog barking, but you
Right.
also help your dog because the reason behind the barking is not necessary anymore because the moment your dog barks, you do something else. So your dog is like, okay, sure.
Yeah, we're not doing that. We're doing this.
Yeah, and then if you want to go deeper and say like, okay, what is the reason why my dog barks? Start to be curious. What is the reason? Is your dog afraid? Does your dog wants to play with the other dog? Right? I don't know what it is, and it really not always matters to change a pattern. But if you start to listen and see your body, the not your body, but your dog's body language, that's the way how they talk to you. They will tell you what the reason is behind the barking. But if we just say like, I don't like the barking, you need to stop the barking. You're trying to fix the barking, but a relationship, a connection is both sides, right?
Yeah,
So from your side, you want to fix it, but fixing is not feeling your emotions.
that's
It's
right.
just shutting it down.
That's right.
So you're not feeling your emotions, and your dog, their emotions are not seen either. So fixing doesn't really help.
That's right. And as you said, it's reinforcing it because you're giving them attention, even if it's the
Absolutely.
negative attention.
Absolutely.
So tell us how that shifted for the people that you work with. You know, some of the transformative stories you have with people and their pets, like what, and how long does it take to achieve this? Like, give us a
Eh,
little idea of that.
How long this takes is all depending on the willingness to change,
Mm-hmm.
right? I cannot tell you how quick it goes, but I have an 8 week journey. It is a transformational journey where it's called Lead with Purpose, and you really go within with the uh, with the behavior of your dog shows to you, and how you start to acknowledge the emotions and the feelings that come up for you. Because you need to start with that. If we shove them down, that's not healing, right? So we
Right?
need to start being aware of what kind of emotions are coming up when I see my dog behaving the way they do. And then when you know, now you have a choice,
Yes.
right? And the moment that you have a choice, you can stay in the same way that you did, or you can shift it. And when you shift it, your dogs are there, your biggest supporters are right away like, I felt something different. You're doing something different. I feel it.
Of
So they are
course.
like, finally, now you see me, or you see yourself. Or the way how you communicate with me is the way how it's not confusing. Because now when like, your dog doesn't want you to put your feelings away. Your dog wants you to be true to yourself,
That's
because they
exactly right.
they feel it anyway. Like, our we in our mind try to fake who we are. We put a mask on, but dogs, they don't see the mask. They see who we really are. Sometimes they know even better who we are than we do. So, in an 8 week journey to lead with purpose, we start to be aware, and then to accept, and then to shift. And then when we shift, our dogs show us if we are on the right path.
That's right. They're the
And in
mirror.
8 weeks, you learn all the tools to feel instead of fixing, to connect instead of control, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to be present instead of the pressure that we put on it. So if we do that in 8 weeks, and then of course after 8 weeks we're not done, you keep doing it over and over and over again. And now you don't do it just with your dog, but you start to see it in a relationship. You start to see it with your kids. You start to see it in your business, because those tools are there not just for the relationship with your dog, but for any relationships in your life.
Absolutely. Well, what you're
And
really doing is helping them then reconnect with their own intuition
absolutely,
and
Yes, to
following
lead
it.
with purpose is, who am I, like, truly? Because sometimes we even forget who we are. We don't even know anymore who we are because there's so many people who put expectations on us, and we need to dig really deep to feel who we really are. What is our purpose?
That's
And
absolutely true.
and the lucky part is there's no one on this earth with the same purpose as you.
That's absolutely true. And you know, this is so inspiring because after I wrote my book, I went to do a book signing up in Ocala, which is horse country in Florida. And I had met a woman a couple years before that who I reconnected with, and she was a Reiki practitioner. And I saw on her Facebook page one day that there was a horse Reiki healing. And I said, oh my God, I have to go to that. So I went to that, and the horses were right in the corral, and they would put a massage table in the corral. That experience was unbelievable. I can't even tell you how mind-blowing it was because the horses would come over, and the woman, there was the Reiki practitioner, my friend, and another lady who was a shaman. So she was intuiting what the horses were saying, and the horses were telling her things that were absolutely true about me. And I was blown away. And at one point she said, Carolyn, there's four horses here, one on either side, one at the bottom and one at the top. And that experience was transformative. And then another experience that was transformative was reading another woman's book. Um, and she spoke about how the horses, they don't like incongruence. And you mentioned that about the dogs too. And they said, what she said is, even if you're feeling angry, they want you to be true to who you are. They don't want you to
Yes.
be smiling, but be
Yeah.
boiling underneath. They want, and they'll
So true.
Right? And so
Yeah.
they'll walk away if you're being incongruent. And then
Yes.
this is what the horses would do. The horses would just walk
Yes.
away. But if
Yes.
you were actually feeling your feelings, then they would come.
Yes. And this is the beautiful part of dogs. Like, if we feel angry or sad, or like, see around you. If you are in a crowd of people and somebody starts to cry, there's people who feel ashamed that you are crying. Why are people feeling ashamed that you are crying? Because we don't know how to show our feelings anymore. And instead of having compassion for somebody who does show the feelings, we try to kind of put it away, right?
Negate
If
it.
somebody's crying, we say like, "Oh, can I do something for you? Here, get out here." Don't do it here.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. But the more we start to feel our feelings, the faster they go too. That's the good part, right? Like, if we truly feel our feelings, we will never feel them longer than 15 minutes.
That's a great, great point because that's what I always say to my clients. Their feelings, they just move. They need to move, but we need to allow them to move. We don't,
Yes,
shove them,
yes,
stick them down, and we do that in so many dysfunctional ways, right? We try
absolutely.
to
Yeah,
numb. I call it numbing. We're numbing when like we eat something, we smoke a cigarette, we have a drink, there's a myriad ways that we do it, and some of them even seem healthy, like
yeah,
working out too much or working too much. And that's just not allowing the feelings to present. So you're doing such an enormous service to the people and the animals because both people now, the owner and the animal, are being healed. This is
yeah, absolutely.
transformative. So again, I want to hear some of like the stories of what you hear from people, like when they really experience this themselves and they see their pet change and they know that they changed. What do they say? How do they act?
So in the beginning, people don't understand, right? They
Yeah.
they 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 know there is more, but they don't really understand. But when they start to experience it, that's where the beautiful things become. And that's what I said. Your dogs are the biggest supporters. When dogs start to shift because they are clear, you get an overexcited dog who becomes calm. Like people are like, I didn't do anything, but they do it now. But that is because you were more true to who you are. So your dog didn't need to be overexcited and could be calm now. So those are shifts. And like as the moment that I got 4 kids, my dogs' attention that I had normally just for my dogs, I needed to divide it. That was a time that I needed to give in and choose sometimes more time for my kids and sometimes for my dogs. And I was constantly kind of juggling in between because if I gave more time to my dogs, my kids did something and the other way around, right? So,
Yeah.
but on the other side, it taught me that if I really am present in the moment with one of them and not try to do the both because you cannot do that.
No, you can't divide.
They are fine to wait it out. So you get a
Wow.
lot more calm in your life. You get confidence, not just in yourself, but you get confidence in the relationships around you. So the people who come, they don't just have a better relationship with their dogs, but it starts to kind of um, implement in their families. So kids, like they didn't even teach the kids anything, but because they changed, they shifted, the kids felt it, and the dog, right? It,
Yes.
people with their spouses. It's even people into their businesses. It's all relationships. We cannot expect a communication one way. It's always two ways, always.
Right.
But we think if I tell something, the other needs to get it the way how I tell it. But it's not. It's just not. So it helps you everywhere in life. If you just use the tools, and I love to have the dog involved because the dog is such a sweet supporter and it shows the shift so fast after you shift so that it is visible. But it is all the same to your kids, to your spouses, to your business, to everything. And the stories are incredible because everybody's like, I didn't even know that my dog could be calm, but they are now.
Because they didn't know it was coming from them.
No, 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 no. But you cannot fix a dog if you are stressed, if you are
Right.
with your mind. Like you can imagine having 4 kids, and I had them 4 and 5 years. So it was a busy time. So my mind was kind of all the time working on them. But the moments that I connected with my dog were the moments that they could build on, even in the times that I was busy with them. But you need to connect every day with your dogs. And if you don't do that, you will feel it and your dogs will feel it. So your connection will become disconnected.
Right. Just like people.
Absolutely, right? If you don't put enough effort in a relationship, people
Right.
are not staying, right?
Right, or the dogs will be agitated, even if they're still there. I see those pictures and my heart breaks when I see the dog at the window, right? And the dog is just waiting at the window. He's just like waiting, waiting, waiting for that connection. And I want to speak to a little bit that reminded me about their intuition, knowing where their owner is and knowing that their owner, like say the owner is on their way home from work. They're nowhere near the house, but the dog runs to the door.
Yes, my dog does that too. If my kids are home and I come home, my kids always say like my dog is Joy, so my Joy always knows when we're coming. because she jumps up and she knows that I'm coming, but I'm not even close yet. But she knows. Yeah,
I know.
that's part of it. But that is the connection. The connection with your dog is not just physical, right?
That's an obvious example. It can't be. How else would they
No,
know you were coming
no.
home like
Hey,
30
but
minutes?
that connection is also not just physical with people.
That's
How often
exactly
do you
right.
have that I'm thinking about my friends and that she sent me a message or she calls me,
Yes,
right? That's the same.
absolutely. It's the
And
same.
everyone can do that. But we are so distracted these days that we're not living now anymore. And it is only in the now that you can hear it.
That's so
So we need
absolutely
to come back now. And the best way, and that's part of my first week in the program, is just sitting with your dog 10 minutes a day and just put your arm on your dog or your dog lays on you, but put your hand on it so that you feel it, you smell it, you can see it. All your senses are used to be with your dog. And the more sentences you use, the more present you are.
that
And
is
just by doing that, it's like a game changer.
that is so beautiful that you're using all your
Yeah.
senses. That's beautiful. I mean, I do that in my hypnotherapy, right? The clairsentience, the clairaudience, the
Yeah.
kinesthetic. You want to see it, you want to feel it, you want to smell it, you want to
Hear it.
hear it. Yes, all of it. You want
We
it
always say
all there.
two, but better if three sentences that you use at the same time is the more present you are right here.
That's absolutely true. So your graduates, I guess I'll call them, of your program, you are not only, I mean, changing the relationship with the dog, as you said, you're changing their relationship to everything.
Yeah, because if you lead with purpose, right? That
Yes.
is the true you. That is who
Yes.
you are. So the more clear you are on who you are and what you want, the better you can send that out. And that's how you attract the things around you, everything.
That's right, and that's the congruence. Just like I learned in the Reiki with the horses, that was
Yeah.
such a huge. And with what I when I read that woman's book, I was like, oh my God. She's like, they know you need to be congruent. You need to be authentically who you are, which goes back to the beginning of what you said about knowing that who am I? Who
Yes.
am I? What am I here for? And it's
Yes.
just like I talk in the book. Listen to the voice within as
Yes.
opposed to the voice or voices without.
Yes. Because there's so much expectations these days on us that we
Yes,
start to believe that's how we supposed to be. But those expectations are for everyone. They're not just for you, they are for everyone. But
right.
there's only one person in the world with the purpose that you have.
And that is such a beautiful, beautiful message to all our guests. Did you hear that, everybody? This is amazing. You are an inspiration. I'm blown away. I really am because this is not not just, a dog thing. This is a life thing.
Absolutely.
This is a people, dog, everything thing. It's being here now. Wow. Well, I can't believe it. We've already been talking for almost an hour. Do you believe it? I mean, it's crazy. And I really want to respect your time. So, but I do want to ask you, is there, anything you'd like to share with our audience before we leave is kind of like a last thought, a last inspiring little tidbit from your amazing self.
So the last thing, like, I think there's a lot of hard-led dog lovers And those, if you want to recognize yourself as a heart-led dog lover, you are curious that there is more than just obedience. There is more. Your dog is here for you. Your dog chose you to help you heal. So respect that and start to be curious. What can I learn from my dog? Because your dog is the biggest supporter. There is not one human in this world who has unconditional love like your dogs have. So use it in your benefit to change yourself and become that person who you really are.
Wow, that is unbelievable. Ariane, I can't believe the profundity of this and how this is going to affect not even just people with dogs, but people in general. But it's going to make a lot of people want to go get one, which is going to be great for the shelters. Yay!
Yeah, I hope. And even if you get a dog out of the shelter, not every dog in the shelter you want, because there is an energy that you attract in a dog. And that is because that dog comes to you to help you heal.
Wow. So, well, then what do you mean by that? So, say someone did go to the shelter and want to adopt a dog. What should they look for? Or how should they go?
Feel, feel,
Right. Will they
feel.
dogs
What
will
is
come to you, but will only dogs come to you that are really meant for you? How, and
no,
you
but
said
but what does that dog give? What kind of feeling does that dog give to you?
yes.
Because the feelings is the where you need to be curious to. The feelings are true,
Right.
right? And that dog, it's a magnet. What you send out is what you get, and your dog is literally here to help you heal from maybe it's trauma that you went through, but you shoved it down and it never got the opportunity to release. Your dog is
Mhm.
here to release it.
Wow. Well, that's what I mean when I say what should they look for when they go in? What should they, I don't mean just
Heal.
looking with their eyes. I'm talking
Nope.
about feel from their heart then.
Yeah.
They should look for that connection is what I mean. They
Yeah.
should
And don't
feel
get
for
a
that.
dog if you don't have an intention to heal with it. Because if you just have a dog because you think if I get a dog, then you need to take responsibility.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, dogs are a huge responsibility. I mean, they're like having a child, they
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
So, and you, in the love and the support and the care, it's all there. But even that alone of just helping people, realize that, feel when you go, feel what that is, feel the connection. And like you said, the dog will come to them. The dog will they always
Or
be
it
the
is a
same?
feeling. Yeah, but or it is a feeling. Sometimes the dog don't get the opportunity to come, but sometimes you attract a very anxious dog, right? So they
Yeah,
don't come to you,
right.
but your feelings, that dog anxious in a corner might awaken feelings within you that
Hmm.
you're like, there's something with that dog. There's something that that dog awakens in me.
Hmm.
So trust your feelings. Be curious.
Wow, that's really, really great. And I have heard that and I've seen it and I've experienced it. You're attracted to an animal for a certain reason, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that, and
And
it's like,
animals are very honest. Some
yes,
animals don't even come to you.
right. Well, does that necessarily mean well, that means they maybe they sense your incongruency? Could that be like the horses if they don't come
Yeah,
to
yeah,
you?
definitely. Yeah, definitely. And but this is the funny part of us human is we make it personal and we're like, so
That
so
dog
I
doesn't
have a
like me.
therapy. I know I have a therapy dog, right? So I go to schools and nursing homes and retirement homes, and especially in schools, then sometimes we get in 1.5 hours, we get like 300 students and they all come around the dogs and pet the dogs. And my dog loves people, but certain people, she's like walking away. And then those kids are like, oh, he doesn't like me. So instead of saying and make it personal, the dog doesn't like me, start to be curious. Maybe what you think and what you feel is different. So your dog is like, I cannot handle that part, right?
That's just like the horses.
But yeah, exactly. But when we take it personal, now we're the victim. We're like, that dog doesn't even like me.
Yes.
That's not taking responsibility, right? So start to be
No.
curious.
Right. The first responsibility is what could that be about? What am I
Yeah.
conveying
Yes.
that
And
you
that's
can get
why,
from the dog?
like the times that I sat in the field where the cows were just in the field grazing and I was just sitting and then they were curious and they started to check me out. I never called them, but they started to check me out. And the more I did that, the more sometimes they were just laying beside me. And that was fine. They didn't need to come to me, but being in the fields with the cows around me was being now.
Yes.
They were chewing the grass and sometimes they snooze and it doesn't matter what they did,
Right.
but they were here.
And they were
So I
present.
learned in at a young age already that that was my happy place.
Yeah, because they were present. They were in the
I
now.
know,
And you
right?
are in the now with them.
I know, but I never knew that at that time. It was just like I escaped the real world into my happy place.
Yes, I know that feeling. I did the same thing. My granddad had a farm and he had cows, and the neighboring man grazed his horses there, and I could ride the ponies and the horses, and the cows were there, and my pa, I called him my great granddad, his dog Jeff was there, so I get it. I felt more comfortable in that world too. So I know
Yeah.
exactly where you came from. I'm sure there's a lot of us out there that felt that and know that. But now, what Ariana is doing for us today is helping us put the pieces of that puzzle together again. And if you're a dog lover, if you're a dog owner, or even if you're just wanting to get another dog, I think this is invaluable, this talk, because you are really retraining, as you say, the owners. And
Yes.
the dogs
Yeah.
will
Find out who you are. Because if
yeah,
you know who you are, you can be who you are. And that's what your dog wants. That's the clarity that
that's
they
right.
are looking for.
And then when you know that and you're acting from that authenticity, the rest just unfolds because the dog
Mhm.
feels that. And once
Absolutely.
and once you know that, the work is three-quarters of the way done, right? Or is it,
Absolutely.
I mean, they
Absolutely.
still need
We
you to
just need
do
a reminder every day that when we see our dog, that the reminder, like, okay, the dog is there. Oh, right. I need to be present again because we get sucked so easily back to the real world where
yeah,
we get distracted and on our phones scrolling and busy moms and busy work and all those stuff. But the dogs are here to remind us, come back here now.
that's right, because that's actually the unreal world, but we are
Mhm.
programmed into it as
Yes.
what we
Yes.
have
Ye-
to do. But what
Yes.
Ariana is really helping everyone remember is I say don't should on yourself. There's no have or shoulds, but there's just be here now. And this is what you're really teaching. And I
Yes.
love that. And I want you to share where our audience can find you and see you besides here on the incubator, where else they can see you. And I want you to hold up your book again. I want everybody to see that book. Look at
All
that.
right, so Be the Change for your dog. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it on different bookstores. So that's for sure. You see it here on my Zoom here as well. That's my name. You can follow me on social media. I am on Facebook with my name, Arianne. On Instagram, I'm as Joyful Support. I just did my Dog Lovers Festival. It really is something unique with, we had 14 dog experts that were talking about the connection with our dogs in rather than control. But it was about food, it was about behavior, it was about people who work in shelters, it was about puppies, it was about when our dogs pass away, we still have connection. So we see it as a traumatic experience, but actually there's way more. So there's so much value. So if you want that, go to the Heart-Led Dog Lovers group, Facebook group, and join us. Because if it's not right now, there's another festival coming soon as well. So there is, and so my book and then my course. Oh, you can find me on my website, joyfulsupport.com. That's where you can find Lead with Purpose, the program. It's an 8-week journey. We're working on a year program as well, where we say awaken with your dog, but that is not completely done yet. So right now, work on Lead with Purpose, because if you know what your purpose is, then you can change already so much and shift things with your dog, with your kids, in your relationships, in your business, and with yourself. So, right now, that's the best go to for you. 8 weeks. You can do it from home, wherever you are in the whole world. There will be coaching with it, but there's a big chunk you do in your own time. And the coaching is once a week, just half an hour, just to check in. Where can I support you? There is so much value in there. You can find the testimonials on the website. It is incredible. And your dog will love you even more after.
And that's joyfulsupport.com, right?
Yes. Yes.
Joyfulsupport.com, everybody. This is a fantastic, Ariana. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your love and your dedication and your congruency.
Thank you.
You are
I
divine.
I am so grateful to be here with you, Caroline. And it's wonderful to spread this word around the consciousness, right? And you had your experience with horses. I did it with my dogs. It's important that we all start to awaken. There is so much more than we know, and it makes us all feeling much better.
Absolutely. And that's really reconnecting everybody with your intuition, right? Hence the name, the Intuition Incubator
Yeah.
Interviews. Well,
Yes.
thank you so much, Ariana. This was absolutely divine. I love you. You're so inspiring. And I can't wait for our group to hear this. So
Yeah.
I will see you again soon. Ariana and I are sisters in a group, so we get together. So I will be seeing you soon. And I can't wait for this to air and for everybody to hear about you. So thank you so much, everybody. Joyfulsupport.com. Hold up your book one more time. I want them to see that.
And be the change for your dog.
Be the change for your dog, everybody, and be the change for you too. Because when you do
Yes.
be the change
That's
for
why
your dog,
it's really in like in white, because for your dog, if that's the reason that you want to do it, sure. But be the change for you is even better.
oh, I love that. Thanks for clarifying that. That was perfect. Okay, thanks so much, my dear. I will see you again soon. Love you. Goodbye,
Thank you.
everybody. We'll
Bye.
see you again soon on the next episode. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.